Welcome. Welcome. Welcome, mystical people. Hello. Guten Abend. Guten Abend, and welcome to class, the first class in this 12-part series. It's all very exciting, isn't it? Yes, we'll just go ahead and wait for everybody to join the class. First class is open to the public, I think. Did we agree that? You guys usually help me with these things, right? We're going to do we let the public or do we? Yeah, first class. Hold on, what do I have going on here? Let me figure this out. I think first class is a public audit. I got to find out what I'm doing here. I'm sorry. Hold on, folks. Welcome. Please take a seat, get comfortable while we start our first class. I should have, I got to mute it. Well, okay, hold on. Sorry about that. I think I have this on private or on, it's supposed to be on public today. I'm going to allow it to be audited by members only. Should it be members only? I think members only. That way the fairies and angels can audit. But I probably will not have it be with the public. So yeah, I'm going to switch this out to members only. If you are a fairy or angel, I will let you audit today. If you decide you want to join the class, it's at the Elders and Empaths level. This is a 12-week course, introduction to the tarot. We cover a lot. This is the full package. We're going to be looking at numerology in this course. We're going to be looking at Chinese medicine and Ayurvedics in this course. We're also going to be talking about history, and we're going to be talking about the Hebrew alphabet and Cabala. You know, I tried to do it in 10 weeks. I tried to cover this class in 10 weeks, and I was not able to do it in 10 weeks. So now I've decided to make it a 12-week course. So that is what is going on. Has everybody had a blessed Sunday? Yes. Just wait for more people to get here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to be switching this to members only. So please think about being a member if you would like to join the class. So we're going to go into members. Yes, you are allowed to stay if you are a fairy and angel. You can audit certification after 12 weeks. Send me an email at whimsyanderson@gmail.com so I can give you your certification in tarot. Okay, so we are now at the hello, my loves. How are you? How is everybody? Okay, are we excited? Are we ready? Are we ready to talk about tarot? Okay, so my first question is, how many people here already read the tarot? Can we see a show of hands? How many of you already read the tarot? Take a seat. There's 45 of us here, and you're very welcome to be here. We have 360 members, so we should be getting a nice big class. please join us. You said Sunday was your day. I want to honor that. So we are teaching it on Sundays. It will be every Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I will be working on our schedule for you all. Hopefully, I'll have a syllabus available for you soon, and I will post it. Yes. Who are my tarot readers here? Oh, lovely. Nancy reads the tarot. Sybil reads the tarot. Beautiful. All right. So, how many people still do not have a tarot deck? Anybody here not have a tarot deck? Yeah. So, when selecting a tarot deck, I would recommend the Universal Rider-Waite or the Radiance Rider-Waite. I think the colors are nicer than the original Rider-Waite. And that's because if you look at the original Rider-Waite by Pamela Coleman Smith, it's pretty. She's quite a great artist, but the vibrant colors of the Radiance is much nicer. So let's take a look at the original images. We'll go to Google Images here. Etsy looks like Etsy's shop. They're selling these. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Oops, hold on. What is that? Okay, no, this one I can do. This one, yeah, I can do. All right, so here are some images of the Rider-Waite. Got some nice Etsy here. You can see, and also they're numbered. Really brilliant artist, Pamela Coleman Smith out of Britain. She is the author, and the symbols, she's using a lot of Cabala, inner symbology. She's using some pagan imagery. She's using Hebrew. She clearly was a very, very educated person. So that is what I like about the Universal Rider-Waite. So I use her imagery and I expand beyond even what they were teaching at that time, because I like to look at the earliest origins of of these symbols. And the earliest known archetypes actually come from Africa. And we see that all of the archetypes these archetypes are the heroes of 1,000 faces, aren't they? So when we think about these archetypes, we see that they are quite old. And in fact, the Orisha, which are the guardians of the earth, the spiritual guardians of the earth, like archangels, you could see them as archangels or archetypes. They have, in fact, their own tarot, which is the tarot of the Orisha. And similarly, you see these images, and we will go through those images together of the different archetypes. About 8,000 years ago. So when we talk about archetypes and we talk about the history of tarot, we have to think about the fact that people have been using pictures to communicate for a very long time, right? People have been using these pictures to communicate. Oh, they used to call her Pixie. She went to the Pratt Institute, that's in New York. Waite Smith Tarot. What a cool signature also. You know what she looks like? She looks like most of my friends. Very bohemian. She danced to a different drum. She struggled quite a bit as an artist, but clearly now she is the leading figure in the Tarot. And we really now understand just how brilliant Pamela was. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is we are going to have you take your decks if you have them, and we're going to have you separate the major arcana from the minor arcana. And when we talk about the major and the minor arcana, many people, when they're first learning how to read tarot, they will just read, good, I have the radiant deck and I have the universal. You can always tell by the back. And it's just because I like, they add a little bit more color to Coleman's to Coleman's artwork. So what I like to do when I get people started is, I believe it's 78. I always forget the number. 78 tarot. Isn't 78 the number? And I always like to start by having people just look through the deck, and you're going to want to separate the major from the minor arcana. And when we talk about the major and the minor arcana, we talk about that the minor arcana is similar to today's 52 playing cards in playing with regular deck of cards. It has an ace, it has a king, it has a queen. So it's basically the tarot without the major arcana. So if you only had these cards and you wanted to play cards, you would simply remove the major arcana, and then you have a deck of playing cards. Yeah, so when we think about the minor arcana, you're going to see the same symbols that you would with a deck of playing cards. You're going to see the diamonds, which is associated with the pentacles of wealth, right? You're going to see the hearts, which is associated with the cups. The clubs, which is the wands, and the spades, which is the swords. What is it that they say before they, what is it, before they charge? Bayonets! Yes, charge with your bayonets, yes. Your spears, your spades, whatever you want to call it. The spade is nicer, though, because you're digging the earth. It's a little bit nice imagery than swords, I think. I believe that's how it's done. All right, so the first card we start with, when we're separating out the deck, you'll notice that it starts, you can go ahead and count it out also when you're looking at the major arcana. And what you'll see is that it's counted, right? Here are some of my major arcana, and that's the first thing we're going to go ahead and start with. I recommend you check your cards often. Who here is a reader and you've been happily doing your cards, and then you decided to clear, this is how we clear the energy of the cards also. But how many of you have been happily going along with the deck of cards, and then you decide to clear your cards and you realize you're missing a bunch of cards? How often does that happen? I believe you're still going to be able to give a good reading. I've given good readings and then found out I was missing a card because the universe finds a way to communicate. But it's important to try and have all your cards. So what I always like to do is just go ahead and separate them now if you could. And we're going to start with just the major arcana in class today. And we're going to see how far we get. I don't want to rush like I did last quarter last year when I taught this class. I really want us to take time and have an open discussion about the major arcana. And so we're just separating the major arcana. The minor arcana you can leave for now. Sound good? Work for you? Oh, you got a good Rider-Waite? Good. A sharpened spade is a dangerous weapon. Yeah, it reminds me of that movie Sling Blade. Didn't he make the sling blade from the blade he got from a motorized, what are those things called? A mower, a lawnmower? Oh, Toth. Well, I'm using the Universal Rider-Waite. I don't know the Toth deck, but it's interesting. I've had different feedback from the Toth deck. Whenever Lena Rodriguez is doing like dark, horrible stuff about Trump, it requires the Toth deck. She's such a love. I really like her, but she's funny. I'm just going to double check now and make sure that I've got all my major arcana. Okay, so last is going to be 21. So we have 22 major arcana because we also have a 0. I always think there's 21 and then I have to remember we have a 0. Yeah, just give you guys a little bit of time. Let me know when you're ready to go and we can start. And also, every time I teach this class, people are like, oh, dang, I'm missing this. Oh, dang, I'm missing that. It's like, you see, that's why I always recommend people check your deck. Check your deck. Each card is associated with a number, and that number has a Hebrew letter associated with it. Each card has a number and a Hebrew letter that is associated with it. So let's take a look at that now. Don't worry, we're going to go very slowly. I don't want you feeling overwhelmed, but yes, you will be able to read basic Hebrew by the time this class is done, if you so choose to learn Hebrew. All right, so let's go ahead now and let's take a look at this beautiful, beautiful deck. These beautiful 22 numbers. Let's start with the basic Hebrew. Shalom, shalom, welcome. Make sure and like and share. Think about being a member if you are not yet an Elders and Empaths member. How many letters are there in the Hebrew letters? How many major arcana and how many Hebrew letters? Dun, 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 dun. Dun 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 da ya da ya da 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 ya da da. Oh, you guys, you're so smart. You're so smart. That's right, 22. So what are we seeing? A pattern is forming, isn't it? So this is going to be a little bit different because some of these are going to merge. For example, even though there's 22 of the major arcana, I think that number 19 and number 11 might merge. And there's a reason for that. We'll get into that. But what number is the Fool? What number do you think the Fool is? That's right, 0. So, is there a 0 here? No. And so in Hebrew, that's called nul. So actually, even though there are 22, we see that the kaf, number 11, and the kuf, 100, some readers will merge them. And we'll talk about that. So what do we know about the Fool? Let's go ahead and we're going to start with the Fool. What do we know about the Fool? From a Kabbalistic perspective, let's talk about the Fool. So let's talk a little bit about the Kabbalistic understanding of the Fool. And so I'm going to start by telling the story of Cabala. All right, you guys ready for a little Cabala? Everybody got your popcorn? Who here needs a snacky poo? Anybody need a snacky poo? No snacky poos? A little bit of coffee, a little bit of tea. All right. Once upon a time, a long time ago, in the beginning, which of course there wasn't because there is no beginning, there is no end. It's just an endless universe. In the beginning, the universe was without form and void. In plainer words, we had what was known as the Ein Sof. Okay, you can go ahead and write that down. The Ein Sof. And we can go ahead and show you in Hebrew a little bit about the Ein Sof. Start with some images of the Ein Sof. Ein Sof translates into English as the endless light. Ein Sof. Right? In the beginning, there was only God and nothing else. The light of God, not God itself, this is an error here. The light of God is known as the Ein Sof. Ein means without. Ein, without. Sof is the end. For example, if you're Muslim and you want to pray one more time before the sun comes up, what is it called? It's called sop, or sof in Hebrew, sop, right? And that is the last prayer. And the English equivalent would be like the song, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad for it." So that's sof, right? Sop in Aramaic. When you finalize and you release, this day was, no matter what happened, the good, the bad, the ugly, the awful, a Muslim gets up right before sunset if they can. Similar in the Buddhist tradition and Cabala, they also try to get up before the sun comes up, and they give gratitude for the day that the Lord has made, right? So that is the Ein Sof, the endless light. So in the beginning, there was only the endless light. So there was no division. It was just the endless light, right? In the beginning, there was the endless light. A light without end. And this endless light constricted from its center. It pulled back from its center, creating a vessel. Right? So now we have the light curving like this, And we've got this nice little vessel, a place where the light is not, right? So we think about matter, we think about antimatter. In the beginning was the endless light. It was formless and void. It was a perfect light. So all was connected with the Ein Sof, the endless light of the Creator. And then the Creator constricted from their center and created a place that became like a vessel. And then that endless light shot energy or light into that vessel. And then the vessel shattered into shells, fragments, kind of like you overheat a vessel in a kiln, crack, explosion. Can we think about anything in science that sounds like this? This ancient story? Madame Maru is saying some interesting things. What happens when energy goes into a black hole? What do we think happens? The energy is constricted, comes out the other side, and it explodes. So what do we think the creation of the universe is? The Big Bang. Excellent. I'm so proud of you guys. The next question is, how the heck did these guys figure this stuff out? Right, it constricts on its center, and then it comes out the other end. Boom, 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 right? So the shells are the physical world. So the light of the creation is infused in the shells. And your skin of leather that you currently have, you have a skin of leather, are the shells. And your soul exists inside those shells. Can everybody see this? So this idea of separating from the light, or the fact that we are further from the source, is something that is sung about in ancient Hebrew songs, right? An example would be the song, "It Used to Be So Different." You guys like when I sing? I'll sing a little bit of that. They say it used to be so different. No, not magic, but somehow you were there. And even children used to know you. They used to build their world around you everywhere. Then one day they tried to trap you in molten silver laid with lead. Now suddenly everything has changed. You've hidden your light within your laws. Zakarbi Kalila Simka Hashem, Akobi Kalila Holminka. Letters and spaces on a page. You've hidden your light within these laws. Akarbi Kalila Simka Hashem, Akobi Kalila Holminka. Right? So you have hidden yourself in the klipot, in the shells, in the Torah, in the letters themselves. And so what the song is saying is it's saying that in these letters and in this writing, you find God's light. God's light exists in the letters themselves. We look at the letters and we see the little tiny crowns. And those little crowns are something you'll see in the Torah, and it has to do with the powers and the association with certain letters and numbers. If you'd like to read more about Hebrew for Christians, this is nice cosmic cosmology. You can see here the Ein Sof, how we want to transcend and go return back to our inherent self, which is that we are part of the endless light. Now, when the endless light divides, it divides into various different energies or frequencies. And these energies and frequencies are known, some people pronounce it as sephirot, but I've heard it pronounced usually sfirot or spheres. That God's light in the world is expressed as different types of vibrations. We talk about Jacob's ladder, for example, and we'll go into that in more detail about these various different vibrations or energies that exist. So in the beginning, the perfect light divided, it created a vessel. It shot light through the vessel. It created klipot. And one of the energies of the Ein Sof, one of these vibrations that was part of that endless light, that is divided from the endless light, is called Adam Rishon. The first Adam, okay? Also similar to the word atom. Can you see this? Adam is broken into the word aleph, meaning from God. Dome is red. It also means from the earth. So the red earth, right? So when we think about connecting with the energy of the first soul of man, we're talking about the collective soul of all humankind. So Adam Rishon, or the first Adam, is also the neshama, which is the Hebrew word for the human soul, neshama, of Adam Rishon. The soul of man, right? The soul of Adam. The soul of man, or the soul of human consciousness prior to what? Prior to entering the physical world. Prior to that, we were in spirit form, right? We were one with the endless light of God. There was no division. And then we put on our spacesuits and we enter into a hostile dimension, which is known as Earth, right? And so this is the journey of Adam Rishon. This is the journey of the soul of man. And he is the original cookie. You know, you think of him as a delicious chocolate chip cookie that's going to crumble into 8-point-something billion pieces, right? But they all come from this original Adam Rishon. Does that make sense? Any questions up to this point? Feel free to ask questions. There are 53 beautiful souls here. Any questions about the soul of Adam, the soul of Adam and the collective consciousness of humanity? So Adam is neither male or female. Adam is without gender because energy doesn't have a gender, because energy does not have genitalia, right? Right. So Adam Rishon, Adom Rishon, refers to the first, the collective consciousness of humanity, And if you look at the picture, it's both male and female. So Adam and Eve are twin flames, right? They're the yin and the yang of the collective soul of Adam Rishon. Now let's take a look at the actual colors that we see with the Fool from the Tarot. Let's see if we can't find that. And let's talk about some of the imagery that the artist has chosen. This looks pretty good. Let's do this one. Let's get a good picture up for everybody. Cabala comes from the Hebrew word for Kabbalat, which means to receive, a receipt. So it is to receive the consciousness, God consciousness. It is the act of learning anything that allows us to make a connection with God's consciousness is the Kabbalah. I'll take the receipt. I will receive. What we see here is we see that she has the imagery of the endless light on the dress of this lovely transgender person, right? And we had shown you earlier images of the Ein Sof, that everything came from that center place. So we see this lovely imagery of the Ein Sof, and we see that this divine being is on a journey, right? And this divine journey is about to take place where they're falling into a physical body. Does that make sense? So the Fool is about ready to take the leap, and he's got a light little bag there. Now, some people would argue that he has his karma in the bag. And Kabbalah would say, the Jewish mystical tradition would be, yes, he has a mission. You know, if you're a worker, you've got a worker bag, and you have got to you're going to work, right? So it's his karma, or it's his destiny, and he's got his worker's bag, and he's about to enter into the physical world. He's going to, they, I shouldn't use the word he, they are about to divide into two genders, right? They will enter a place where they'll be divided, which is the worst part of being human, I think. You see the dog yapping. Are you sure you want to take this assignment? Are you sure you want to take this assignment? Be careful down there. Don't forget to write. We also see the red of Adam, that beautiful red coming in. Yes. So you kind of wonder, what the hell did we do that we agreed to this assignment? So because we are all of Adam Rishon, we all take that leap. And there is this idea in Kabbalah that to some extent we have agreed to take this assignment of entering the physical world, partly because we want to elevate the physical world. When we talk about elevating the physical world, what does that mean from a Jewish perspective? From a Kabbalistic perspective, what does it mean? Why is he, she, they taking that leap? Yes, the gold is royal, right? The royal of God. You can see the endless light behind the soul of Adam. Yeah, we've had playing cards and pictures. A very good question, Rainey. Most women who were the female doctors, they were very important on the Silk Road. They helped give birth. People were traveling, babies were being born, and you had these barefoot doctors from China coming in, and Jewish women helping to birth babies, and they were dealing with patients whose languages they didn't speak, so they would use playing cards. This part of your body is hurting. Show me where it hurts. Point. And you would communicate with cards, right? And to this day, we see in many hospitals, they'll have pictures up and you point to where the pain is, right? So it's a very ancient concept. Yes, there are much, much older versions, and we also see versions of this type of writings all the way from China in the Chinese medical, not everybody could read. So we had, and not everybody spoke the same language. And so the purpose of these cards for doctors and for healers and for people that were attempting, there was no difference between being a doctor and being a reader, because they were working on mind, body, and spirit. That's why I brought back the tradition of being a reader, even though I'm a doctor. I thought, well, I can read, but there's a lot of wisdom here. I don't know if I want to give this up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it'd be, fine. I've seen old ones out of Italy. Now, Italy is interesting. We see some very old Cabala coming out of Italy. And the reason for that, I think, is because so many people were part of the Silk Road from Rome, and that Rome fell, right? But 10 to 15% of Rome was Jewish, because they took slaves back from Rome. And so they took Jewish doctors, right? So the doctors brought their cards, right? So when we look at the most ancient symbols, we're finding them in Rome. We're finding them along the Silk Road, which I just think is unbelievably cool. That we found ways of communicating and healing in this way. So Adam is about to take the leap. So what does this mean to you in a reading? First off, it's not a complete tabula rasa, because the person is on a mission. And what is the mission does anybody know what the mission of the Fool is? What is the mission of the Fool? Why did you enter this incarnation? Why are you here? The leap of faith. Very good, Anthony. The red tent. Absolutely. Yes, which was about the women's healing tradition. Why are you here? Why did you come to this planet, to this dimension? Why did you agree to take the leap? To explore the human experience. What would the Kabbalistic response be? Very good, Deborah. The word Cabala stems from the Hebrew word kabal, meaning to receive. Term implies that is a certain kind of wisdom that is received. Very good. To share the light. So I'm going to show you something right here, and we're going to go ahead and read it together. Tikun Olam is the Hebrew. Tikun Olam. You can go ahead and write that down. Tikun Olam. Tikun Olam is a Hebrew phrase meaning repairing of the world. So Tikun is to fix, and Olam is the world. In Judaism, it refers to the concept of taking action to improve the world and address social and ethical issues. It has evolved from early rabbinic usage, with focused on maintaining the social order to encompass modern interpretations of social justice and global responsibility. Tikun Olam, the repairing of the world, its ancient roots. The concept has roots in ancient Jewish texts, including the Talmud, where it was initially used to justify legal interventions in social issues if you see injustice. So we have a moral responsibility, right, to do a No King's March. We have a halakhic or a moral obligation to stand up for justice. Evolution over time, Jewish enlightenment, modern usage, inspiring various social justice, environmentalism, community involvement, but global responsibility, uh, eco-activism, etc. Individual acts of kindness. In essence, Tikun Olam is a multifaceted concept that encourages individuals and communities to actively participate in making the world a better place, reflecting a core value within Jewish tradition. So, of course, part of why we are here is to live abundantly, to live joyously. But we are also here to fix the world, to make this world a better place than it was for us, for future generations. And the idea is that we will merge this world with cosmic consciousness or the heavenly realm. And then we have elevated the world. And then what do we get to do after we have completed our task here of perfecting the world towards a more perfect union, right? Then what do we get to do? Welcome, Laurelyn. Good to see you here. Thank you for your membership. What do we get to do after we fix the world? From a Jewish perspective. Are we done? You go and you get incarnated into another planet because Hashem is endless. His light is the Ein Sof. It goes on and on and on for us forever partners with Hashem, with the Creator, perfecting the universe. You reincarnate. That's right. All right. So he, she, they takes the leap of faith in the reading. The person is about to jump. You look at the other cards around them. I choose 12. I choose a 12 spread. It's associated with the 12 astrological signs, which also is associated with the 12 tribes. Like I said, there's a lot of overlap on the Silk Road. And as an anthropologist, I want to bring it all together, right? I'm going to bring it all together. All right. So now we have the division. How did they divide? How does the soul of man, when it enters into the physical world, then what happens? There's this story of the garden, right? The garden is taking place probably not in this world. So the Garden of Eden is a pre-birth place. So Kabbalists believe that the Garden of Eden does not exist probably in the physical world. So we're not talking about one human man, Adam, and one female, Eve, necessarily. We may be talking about some kind of garden. It's interesting that when people die, they go to a garden. Also in Islam, the garden, people who've had near-death experiences in Islam, I went to the garden, right? This place between the two worlds is a garden. And then we have this weird story about temptation and sexuality and the snake, which was considered sacred in many African traditions, like the Igbo and the Yoruba. The snake is the great teacher. It's not the Satan, but Satan in Hebrew, and we'll get into that later in the class, is associated with the adversary, or I think we'll just call it the adversary. Yeah, because what we know about this world, I don't think I spelled I think it's supposed to be E. I don't know. I cannot spell to save my life. Vowels mess me up. Is that it? Oh my goodness. Why? Okay, I need help. I am going to learn to spell this word. Oh. Yeah, that was right. They're saying it's right. Yeah, so the purpose of the adversary. Oh, why am I getting all weird now? Okay, let me break some of these up. I feel like I'm shaky now, like I did something. Maybe I have too many things open. Let me close some of these. Okay, so I think I had too many things open. Just want to make sure I'm not freezing. And I also want to check, it looks like I'm freezing, so I just want to check my settings. I just want to make sure I'm still online. Yeah, I'm still online. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm okay. Consider yourself at home. Consider yourself part of the furniture. My life, when things fall apart, everybody knows. Yeah, I feel like I'm moving slowly or something. Like I want to, let me go ahead and refresh. Maybe that's my problem. Yeah, I look like I'm jerking around, which looks kind of strange. Let's see if I go to a different setting, if that takes a little bit less pressure off. Because I'm getting a little herky jerky here. So we're going to drop down to 480 and see if that, ew, nice and close. Hopefully that takes a little energy off of me, but I'm still feeling jerky here. I don't like that. Oh well, it's a little jerky. There's a delay. Something happened. There's a bit of a delay. Okay, so I think I know what it is. Hold on. I might have too many things open at once. I just want to start taking some pressure off my computer because be patient, my beloveds. Just want to take there we go. Just felt like there was just too much pressure on the computer. Okay, sorry about the jerk. It shouldn't be this jerky. Let me try this. Still jerky? Strange. Okay. So it may have happened in another dimension. It may have happened in a totally different dimension. And in this dimension, we see the creation of this yin and yang energy and this symbolism of this battle that is taking place from the adversary and the temptation of, the seduction that you're going to be as smart as the creator. These are all just allegories to this idea of the fall of man, the evolution, and the mission of human beings. And it's interesting that the female is cursed with being, it's a curse. She's denigrated. There's no blessing here. You shall treat women like garbage. No, it's a warning to, you incarnate a female, you're going to have difficulty in childbirth. You're going to be treated like a second-class citizen. Are you sure you want to take this assignment? It's a curse. It's the curse. You're entering into a dimension that is less than perfect, and you're agreeing to enter into this world that is less than perfect, and it's no picnic. So we have this entering into the world. So let's take a look at Aleph. Let's take a look at Aleph. That would be the Adam of this lifetime, right? So instead of the soul of Adam, we now have the birthed Adam, right? So we have the birthed Adam. And let's take a look at the Hebrew. for the number 1. Hebrew for the number 1. And we see that Adam is associated with the Hebrew word, with Hebrew Aleph. You can see it over there where we see the A up here. If you want to try and write it, a lot of people like to write it. And it functions like an A. It can be ah, or if it's hard, it can be an A, and it's associated with 1. It's also associated with Adonai, or master, right? So Adonai is Hebrew for the word master, right? It's interesting from a historical perspective that this is almost like something that you would read from Jonathan Swift, where you have this struggle between the king. They're using the imagery of a monarchy, and the people are rising up against the monarch, and the monarch is putting them back into, putting them in their place, right? So the fool, who is associated with 1. So now Adam Rishon has divided the soul of Adam, the neshama of Adam has divided into the yin and the yang parts, the male and female. So they enter into this place. They go into the garden. And they go through a spiritual lesson in the garden where, okay, you're not going to be God. You're on an assignment, right? They go through a series of spiritual. We can talk about the forbidden fruit. Actually, we're going to go into that a little bit. But let's continue on. And we see here, we have, it's so jerky on my side. I feel like I wish I knew why it was getting all herky-jerky. So Deborah Hancock, thank you for sharing that. Feel free to share your own interpretations. So when we're seeing Adam Rishon, when we're seeing the soul of Adam, it means new beginnings, innocence, spontaneous optimism, trust in life, blind faith, upright, or upside down recklessness. If you're not doing upside down, then just look at the cards associated with it. Lack of confidence, squandered talents, right? So that is some of the ways that you would read the Fool. Make sense? Thank you. Yeah, feel free. Share your information with the class. Absolutely. All right. So now the Fool is going to unpack their bag, right? Time to unpack the bag. It's real jerky. Oy, oy, oy. What would happen if I went like this? Changes you made may not be saved. What would happen if I reloaded? Oh, that stopped it. Reloading, now it's gone. I guess I had two things open at the same time. That stopped it. You guys see me okay? Okay, awesome. All right, we just want to give a shout out again to Deborah. Thank you so much for contributing in class, and I like that. I like what you're saying there. I like it a lot. Rainey wants to say something, and I think it's good. She says, I think of it as being the embodiment of that Italian song, Funiculi, Funiculi, with my knapsack on my back, carefree, almost to the point of foolishness. Yes. So interesting imagery. I like that too. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to unpack that bag. And what are we going to find inside that bag? What are we going to find inside that bag? What do we find inside the bag? Any feedback on that? I'm going to get rid of this so you guys can see this better. See my green screen back here? That's all right. What's on the table? What is on the table of the magician? Anyone want to share? We see a cup, right? Cup is one of the suits, right? We're seeing the four symbols, right? So the cup is water, the pentacle, we're seeing the sword and the staff. Very good, Anthony. I like that very much. And good job, Nancy. Coins, swords, cups, and wands. Thank you, my loves. Good job. Elements. Yes, very good. I like this too. Shout out to the amazing Deborah. The bag of tricks. Yeah, so everything that is required to be human. Would you agree? Sometimes we got to know when to hold them, know when to walk away, right? The emotions, work, right? What is Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, and the earth, the things of this earth, Gabriel helps us with, right? Our task, work. The coin you get when you work, Gabriel, right? So we got to work, we got to love, we got to fight for territory and space, the wands. And we need a legal system, right? We need a system of rules, the sword of truth, right? What is he doing with his hands? Does that look like Qigong? Does that look like heart-centered remote viewing for any of those who have taken the class? What is he doing with his hand? As above, so below. Very, very, you guys are so damn smart. I love you guys. Why is that important to the mission of Tikun Olam? Why is that important if you're trying to fix the world? What is the message? What's he trying to do? Yes, grounding. Very good. Heaven's force and earth's force. Yes, very good, Marlam. Very good, Marlam. Right? Trying to bring the two worlds together. The role of the magician, the role he was brought to engage in, which was to bring the two worlds together. Excellent. What about the red? Right? The earth. The infinity on top of his head. The endless universe, right? It goes round and round, incarnation. We get to go to another planet when you're done here, right? He's drawing down Earth's energy, like his connection to the endless light, and he's in to heaven. He's drawing down heaven and he's drawing earth because the earth is a living organism, right? And you can see the beautiful flowers also there, the calla lilies of death and the roses of love and death. Deep, right? It's a card about power. Who here wants to share what they know about the magician? Let's go ahead and share some of the meanings of the magician. Traditional meaning. Aleph in Hebrew, the one, Adonai, my master, right? Take your time, my friends. What do you know about the magician? Power, right? Accumulating power, taking power. When it's inverted, it can be a trickster. Very good, Deborah. Yes. So we see love and death. We see love. We see love being born, life with the roses, and the calla lilies hang, and they're the symbols of death. We see the four elements. We see the magician drawing from the earth and bringing down heaven. We see the infinity of life. We see the red of the earth. Anybody want to share some of the meanings that you have with the magician? Magician as a fixer, the spellcaster, the one who starts the work. Very nice. So now you're in a position where you have the power. If it's inverted, it can be somebody who uses their power in dark ways. That's how I read it. Does the magician wants to be the force of nature or acts as one? Yeah. And, you know, if the final outcome for you is the magician, then I see it as you got the power. And I'll often sing to people, you got the power, right? It's take control. You were born with certain innate abilities simply because you are a human being. Find a way of connecting to source. We talk about plugging yourself in. You're the best lamp in the world, but you're not going to turn on or function as a lamp if you're not plugged in. So we all have to find a way to plug in, whether it's saying the Psalms or the Rosary or reading the Quran, or I like to chant. Some way that you're going to lock on to source, and also you want to ground yourself. And then Qigong, we bring the energies together in HCRV. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? All right, and then we have Eve holding the Torah. The high priestess is Eve. So we have Adam and Eve. The Hebrew word for number 2, or the Hebrew letter for number 2. Does anybody know the Hebrew letter for the number 2? Beit. Beit. I'm thinking of all these Hebrew songs. Akomika Laila Lama Baboker Lama Abara. Akomika Laila Lama Baboker Lama. La 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 la. It has to do with the Hebrew word bite. She knocks it out of the water. She knocks it out of the water. Yes, bite. Bite is the Hebrew word for home. We can see that the bite has a roof. It has an opening of receiving. It's feminine. And it also comes from the Hebrew word a home. A wife makes a home, right? So we have the yin and the yang, the yin and the yang, right? Or the yang and the yin over here. So yang is red and it's associated with Mars and fire, right? We think of the yang elements, it's going to be red, Mars. And the feminine is at night. So the sun is yang and the night is yin. Outward power, Elon Musk, mucho macho man, even though he isn't, right? It's just a game. It's the least mucho macho man in the world, right? I just want to read books, right? But that is the red of the yang. And the daytime and the sun, right? So the sun, Earth's energy, and heaven's energy and Earth's energy. But we have that yang Mars here, right? The red. And with the female, bet or bait means house. Bet is the Hebrew letter that's a b sound, and it's associated with the home. The woman makes the home. So we have the high priestess. So let's go ahead and we'll lose this. And we'll go back to the high priestess who is associated with Eve. So she is the keeper of the wisdom of night, the hidden knowledge. She holds the scroll of Torah, Tet, to bear the light. Or, the Hebrew word for light is or. So she is the bearer of the light. She is hidden and mysterious, and she is cloaked in the night. She is cloaked in the night. She is surrounded by pomegranates. Anybody know the importance of pomegranates? Why are pomegranates so important to the Torah? Why are pomegranates important to the Torah? Anybody know that answer? There's a tricky question. The symbolism of the tree of good and evil, right, was, so you'll say it was an apple, but in Jewish and Kabbalistic, it was the pomegranate. So she's got that tree of good and evil, life and death behind her, and it's symbolized by the pomegranate, not the apple. Legend has it that the pomegranate contains 613 seeds. 613 seeds. What is the significance of the number 613? There are 613 laws in the Torah. Very good. Excellent. I knew I could count on you, Jen. You rock. So when we think about numbers, when we think about connecting with this kind of energy, we look also at the shape of the numbers too, right? We think about the shape of the numbers. So an aleph is like a man upright. It's Adam standing there. He's got his 2 feet on the ground and 2 hands there, and it's an image of a man. So aleph, Adam, the first man, it's shaped like a man, and it's also associated with the master, Adonai, the creator. Bet is receiving, it's open, it's the bite, it's the home, it's feminine. So yang energy is outward. It has that male form. It's shaped like a male form. And the yin, and these are generalizations. Some women can be more yang, some men can be more yin. These are just energies. And so aleph is red, it is yang, and bet is night, dark, yin, cool, feminine, receptive, and anything else? Oh, wisdom, right? So when we think about the Hebrew, we're thinking about the wisdom, right? And we're going to go a little bit also, as we continue on, we're going to look at the Sphirot a little bit more, or these energies. So those are the first 3 cards of the Major Arcana. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to add to these 3 Major Arcana that we have worked on today? Noachide is the 7 laws, not 10. But I still what you're doing, Devorah. That's very good. 613 laws. that a Jew has to uphold in order to heal the world, which is why we tell people, please do not convert. You're going to make yourself miserable. Yeah, Jewish people, we discourage conversion. You don't want to be here. Trust me, do something else. Go be a Muslim. It's a beautiful religion. uh, anything but this. The B and the J are associated with Boz and Yokin, or you could say Baruch Hashem, Yahweh, blessed is the Lord, Baphomet. Different people have different interpretations. The pillars, again, the wisdom of the Torah, the pillars. Deborah has some interesting feedback here from if you're interested in finding out more about the pagan or the Western Cabala, Boz and Yokin. I've also heard Baphomet. Two pillars of Solomon's temple. B and J are clearly referring to Judaism. Yeah, blessed is God. Blessed is Hashem. Yahweh. Yud K Vav K. Baruch is blessed, also coming from the Hebrew bet, to be blessed or to give a blessing. The high priestess gives a blessing. So she has the 613 laws. She's associated with blessed is the Lord, and also the pillars of the temple, the pillars of she creates the home, she creates the foundation. All right. I think I have overwhelmed you guys. How are you doing? Pagans have more fun. I think it's all good so long as you remember that you are here to fix the world and that you are on a mission. You're on a mission. I'm on a mission. And we fail all the time. I get in bad moods. I get pissed off. I got to come online and I got a really bad case of diarrhea. And that guy said, I'm a human being, right? And then I'm like, God, why couldn't I get control? Why did I got to watch I'm an Aries with Leo. I got a lot of fire. I'm constantly having hot flashes. Just be aware that you are imperfect. Just be aware that you are part of the soul of Adam, that you are here to create heaven on earth. And and find a positive path that is going to create Tikun Olam, the fixing of the world. All right, I think we're going to stop here. I'm very happy with our progress. I think hopefully in the next 2 weeks, we will make it 2 to 3 weeks. We'll get through the Major Arcana. Then we're going to go into dividing the suits, and we're going to get into Chinese medicine after that. Before you leave, I want to show you a couple of things. I know people start to crash the last hour, so I want to let you get out of here. But I want to just show you something to think about, and you can also study it on your own before next class. And I want you to start thinking about those wise practitioners, those wise women that were healing and doing acupuncture and saving the world and all the other wonderful things that they were doing on that Silk Road, and yet they could not read or write. Think about that. And I want to show you something that you're going to find very useful as you travel on this journey with me. And that is something that's called 5-element theory in Chinese medicine. And we see here the cycles of control: wood, metal, fire, water, earth, right? And what you're going to see is you're going to see all of these elements played out. We're going to go into it in the Tarot and how Tarot was used to diagnose imbalances in the body. Here we have an image also I'd like you guys to take a look at before I release you. I know you're tired. I can feel it. And this is the 5 points. Fire and wood work together in the wands. So both of those are under wands. Earth is the realm of Gabriel. Metal is the sword of truth, and that's Archangel Michael. And water, which is the healing waters, which is emotions, and that is associated with Archangel Raphael. Yeah, fire is associated with wands, and wood is associated with wands, and that's Uriel, or the Ari, fire. Okay, I've tortured you enough. Did you have fun today? Did everybody have a good time for your first class? I'm very Jewish. I'm very Israeli. I spent many years in Israel, my 20s in Israel, and it really shaped my personality. And I have to keep reminding myself that not everybody is an Israeli. You know, I have come on. You're not in Tel Aviv. You're in the West. They communicate differently here. Yes, I've got all that pent up Israeli passion. All right, everybody. You guys did great. I think it's amazing. And feel free to always pipe in and share your wisdom about the Tarot. We love to share here. Okay, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next Sunday, 5 o'clock. Don't forget to take notes. All right. Bye, loves. Bye. Thank you so much.